Bore da. Hello. Another new week. Hello to everybody. Hello to mums and dads, brothers and sisters. I've been away from school a long time now, haven't we? But I still feel I know you're there, mums and dads. I feel like we're together. And especially when I've seen you in the Zoom session. So that's been a bit fabulous. And if you need me for anything, I'm on Twitter. Just message me. So lovely. Nice to keep in touch. Okay. Day to day. First day back after the weekend. It's a day that starts with the letter sound. Do you know what day it is? Monday. Monday today. So if we were in nursery, we'd all be coming back together after the weekend and we'd be saying, hello everybody, when we did the register, because we hadn't seen each other. So imagine what we'll be saying when we get back to school. Gosh, we'll all have to say hello to everybody, won't we? We've missed them so much. Weather's a bit cloudy today. Mine gummalog Heather, but at least it doesn't look as though it's raining at the moment, so let's hope it doesn't. Now, there's going to be a bit of a change with the videos because I can't keep doing them every day. I can, but Sam's got lots of other things he's got to work on. So we're going to cut it down to 3 times a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there'll be videos. And then usually on a Tuesday and probably a Friday, I'm going to do a Zoom session. That'll change not this week, next week, because I'm doing one on Monday next week. But usually probably I think it's going to be Tuesday and Fridays. So we'll do a little Zoom session. I've been loving those. That's been fabulous. I don't know. We play some games, don't we? I don't know that we get a lot done. But we do play some games and it's just lovely to see you all. Okay, so that's nice. So I'll be putting up some more tweets about Zoom sessions. So if you want to join in, give me a message, okay? Now I know I'm going to try and give you some extra jobs. Don't do them all in one day. Don't wear yourself out. Isla's been doing loads of jobs. She didn't feel very well one day, so she's been trying to catch up. And working so hard at her jobs. I've got a little photo for you there of her doing all her different jobs to catch up. So I'll try and give you enough jobs to be going on with for a couple of days. And if I see anything different, I'll tweet it for you, okay? I'll just put it on Twitter if there's any other jobs I want you to do, okay? Yesterday, I put on Twitter about some nice PE jobs to do from Sports Wales, who've invented these stories and activities for children. And so I chose the nursery and reception one, and I've tweeted that for you, and it is lovely. There's little stories, and then there's some dances to do and some movements, and it's really lovely. So if you can have a look at that, that's brilliant, and that'll keep you going for a bit. Right, okay, so our first job, we are going to have a letter this week, but I'm not doing that today because we've got quite a big job. And mums and dads, when we're in nursery, this job is quite an important one because it tells us a lot about how they're coming on and how they're progressing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read you a story again, okay? You've heard it once before. I'm going to read it to you again. I want you to concentrate really hard, because what I'm going to be asking you to do this week is a retell. That's what it's called, a retell. And what it means is you're going to remember what happens in the story and tell us all about it. I'm going to do a big drawing. So I will tell you more about that when we've read the story. But the most important thing now is that I read the story for you again and you listen carefully and think about remembering what happens in this story. Okay, so you know the title. It's called Jack and the Beanstalk. So let's have a look, and if you can remember the bits on the way, that's brilliant. Let's have a look. So do you remember that special way that stories start? Once upon a time. Once upon a time, I've got to be able to see this, haven't I? So I can read the words. So I'm going to come a bit nearer like that. Once upon a time, there was a boy called Jack. He lived with his mother. Remember, that's another word for mum. In a cottage. They were very poor. Remember, that meant they didn't have any money to buy things. They were hungry and they needed new clothes. But they were so poor they didn't have any money for it. So one day, Jack's mother said, "You must take our cow to the market and sell her," because they need the money, don't they, to buy food. So Jack took the cow to the market. And on the way to the market, Jack met an old man. "Where are you going?" said the old man. "I'm going to the market to sell our cow," said Jack. "Will you sell the cow to me for 5 magic beans?" said the old man. So Jack sold the cow for 5 beans. Uh-oh. Jack took the beans home. "I have sold the cow for 5 magic beans," he said. "5 beans?" said Jack's mother. She was cross. She threw the beans out of the window. So cross. And then she sent Jack to bed. Uh-oh. In the morning, when Jack woke up, he looked out of the window and saw there was a giant beanstalk. A giant beanstalk had grown in the night, and look how tall it is. It went up, up into the sky. Jack climbed up the beanstalk. At last, Jack got to the top of the beanstalk. He saw a giant castle. Jack knocked on the door, and the door opened, and Jack went in. In the castle lived a giant and his wife. "Fee, fi, fo, fum," said the giant. "I want my breakfast." Jack was scared. "You must hide," said the giant's wife, "or the giant will eat you." Scary stuff. Jack hid from the giant. The giant sat down at the table. And then he put a hen on the table. It's a chicken, isn't it? "Hen, lay an egg," said the giant. "Quack," said the hen. And the hen laid a golden egg. "Here's your breakfast," said the giant's wife. His wife gave him a very big breakfast, and the giant ate his very big breakfast. Then the giant felt very sleepy. "Time for my nap," said the giant, and soon he was fast asleep. "A golden egg," said Jack. "I will take the hen. She will make us very rich." The giant was fast asleep, so Jack took the hen. "Quack," said the hen. And the giant woke up. Jack ran, and the giant ran after him. Not surprised. But Jack got his axe. he chopped down the beanstalk. Chop, chop, chop. The giant fell down. And that was the end of him. Then the hen laid another golden egg. So Jack and his mother were rich. Okay, did you remember that? Okay, let's talk about what I need you to do. We're going to make a story picture. Now you need a big piece of paper for this. If you've got A3, mums and dads, that's the best. If not, tape 2 A4 together. If not, if you've only got A4, that's what you're going to use, but still. Now I like to use just one colour pen, so they're not worrying about colours. I use black, quite a thin felt pen is what we use. And this has got kind of 3 prongs to it, this is for the mums and dads now, children, but also for you, because what we're looking for first of all is if you can remember the story, if you can retell things that you've heard. Now you might be able to remember some things and not others, so if not, it's okay for mum and dad to show you on their phone or on the laptop me reading that again, and to pause it at the first page and say what's happening. So you've got a picture then to look at, and that should help you. So remembering is a big part of this job, and we're looking for if you can remember what happened all the way through the story. And you shouldn't just say, oh, if mum says what happened in this story, you say there's a giant, because there is a giant, but there's lots of things happen before it. So we're thinking about what happened first, what happened next, what happened after that. So we're thinking about what happens all the way through the story. Okay, so that's a really important thing. So second, then we're thinking about how you're talking to us about the story. So if dad says to you, tell me about the giant, you could, if you just said big, well, that's right, and that's good because you know about the giant, but what we're looking for you to do is to talk in a whole sentence. So you might say the giant was big and scary, or the giant had horrible teeth, or the giant lived in a castle. We're looking for you to say a whole sentence about what happens in this story in each page, really, on each bit of the story. And then the other really important thing is your drawings, because your drawings have been coming on all year. So now they should be the best you've ever been able to do. So if you are going to draw a cow, like Jack's cow, we're looking for you thinking about what a cow looks like. So it's not just a blob, is it? Nobody wants a cow that's a blob. You've got to think about what it's got, what it needs, and what you need to draw to make it look as much like a cow as you can, or as much like a person or a castle or whatever it is you're drawing. We're looking for those drawings to be careful now. We don't want drawings like this. Scribble, do we? No. We need careful drawings. So this is what to do. So you're going to get your big piece of paper, you've got your pen. So mum, dad, you're grown up, will say, right, tell me what happens at the start of the story. And if you're not sure, you can always go back to the film where I was reading it, pause it, have a look at the first picture. So then you should be able to say what happens. Can you remember those special words at the start of the story? Lots of fairy tales start with these words, so you might remember them. So I'm going to give you the first bit. So we know at the beginning who's in the story, don't we? We know at the beginning of the story we've got Jack and his mum and a cow. So once you've remembered that, tell it to mum or dad. They're going to write it down for you on a different piece of paper, not on your drawing paper, on their own paper. So they will write down the sentence that you tell them, okay? Just write it down as they say it, mum and dad. But if they just give you 1 or 2 words, you could say, right, so in the story was, help them to structure it into a sentence. Then you're going to draw that bit of the picture on your drawing. Okay, that bit of the story on your drawing. So you might draw Jack and the mum and the cow and where they live. Okay, then mum or dad can say, and what happened next? So then you can add to your picture another bit of the story. Who met who, what happened, then what happened next. They can add that onto their picture. So by the end, you should have one picture with all the elements of the story in it, okay? Drawn beautifully. Mum and Dad will have written down what you tell them about the story and try and tell them in sentences. Remember some of the words that happened in the story. I bet you can. I bet you remember some of the things that I said exactly as I said them. Okay, now you can do this over one day, you can do it over two and have a rest in the middle, because this needs to be quite a careful drawing, and I want you to be able to remember about this story in quite a bit of detail, okay? So that is your first job for this week, and it's quite an important one. We need to know about how your drawings are coming on, how your talking is coming on, how you're putting words together, and how you're remembering these stories, okay? Watch it again if you need to, absolutely fine. That's what you should be doing, really. Okay, so that's your first job for this week, and it's quite a big one. So perhaps you could send me some pictures of what you've done, your drawings, and we'll see some of those on Wednesday. Okay, so that's your first job. Now your second job is just a job to be going on with, really, and I bet loads of you have been doing this already. If we were in nursery, we would be planting beans this week. We'd have little pots and we'd be planting beans, like not magic beans. Can never get any of those in the shops, but anyway, some normal beans, and we'd be planting them in some soil in a little pot, and we'd be giving them some special things to help them grow. I wonder if you know what they need to have. We'd be putting them down into the soil, and then we would need to give them something that we would pour like this. What would it be? Cup of coffee? No. Drink of tea? No. We'd have to give them some water. Yeah, they're going to need some water to make them grow. And then we'd be putting them somewhere where it would be best for them to grow. We'd be putting them in the sunshine. Find a sunny place. It might be outside, might be on a windowsill, and we would be waiting for them to grow. But we're not there, so we can't. So what I'm going to say to you is, if you can get some seeds, bean seeds would be perfect, being as we're reading about Jack and the Beanstalk, but any sort of seeds that will grow would be fabulous. If you've got a little bit of soil or some compost, some pots. But you know what? If you don't have any of those things, you can still grow some things. Let me show you what I've been trying to grow. Pepper's been looking after these for me on the bed, and I kept thinking she might have tried and have a nibble. So first of all, these are just potatoes. And they've been in my shed in a sack. And when I went to get some the other day, I saw a couple of them had started to do this, which is grow little sprouts, not sprouts like green sprouts, a little shoot, a little bit that's growing on a plant is sometimes called a sprout. So they've started to sprout up with little shoots. And if they kept going, they'd be like roots for this potato, and you could bury them under the soil and grow more potatoes. So that's interesting to see. So I've got them out of the shed and I've got them on the windowsill, and I'm going to watch what happens. And that one as well, look, growing little shoots. Well, if you've got some potatoes, see if they're growing some shoots. I had some carrots made in the other week, and I noticed they were starting to grow some little green leafy bits on the top. So I've just had them in this little saucer in some water, and they're growing. They're only tiny carrots, these ones. They're growing little green leaves, so I'm just keeping an eye on those and see what happens. And then one of our favourite things in the world is taking seeds from apples, isn't it? When we have snack time, we always have to look at the seeds and get them out and count them. So I've got 2 apple seeds here, and I've just put them on some cotton wool with a bit of water, and I'm going to see what happens, really. I had them open to the sun for a bit, but it doesn't seem to be happening. So I've covered them over, but they're nice and wet, and I'll just see what happens. And you could do any of those things, but if you've got any sorts of seeds or plants to grow, Pepper, don't touch the carrots. Oi. Pepper loves carrots. They're not for you to eat. No. Leave. Oh, good girl. I have a feeling she might try and eat them when I'm not looking. There we are. So anything you can find to grow or to go and look at things that are growing, I'm really enjoying when I go out for my walk. When I take Pepper out for a walk, there's so many flowers growing, wildflowers growing, and leaves and seeds and things growing. So it's best to keep a lookout every day because things are growing every single day, different things. Okay, so anything you can do, send me photographs. If you've got anything growing or you've been planting things. I know Rory and his brother Sam have been planting radishes. I wonder if they're growing yet. And I bet lots of you have too. So one more job to tell you about. You might be able to do that. I'm hoping you can do this. You might need to get some extra stuff if Mum goes to the supermarket. So this is a job that we always do in nursery at this time of year, and you love, or the children love. So it's called, you see that, Sam? Cheerio Beanstalks. Now, they've used Fruit Loops for this. You could use Fruit Loops as well. I always use Cheerios or equivalent. As long as they're a circle, don't mind what they are. Okay, they need to be a circle. So what you need is some Play-Doh or something similar. Some spaghetti, dry spaghetti. It won't work cooked, I promise you. Dry spaghetti. You stick that into the Play-Doh. And then literally the children have to pick up Cheerios or Fruit Loops and thread them on. It's a brilliant activity for developing their fine motor skills, their finger and thumb strength, which will have been going down since they've been out in nursery, bound to if they're not doing as much drawing and fine motor things. So it's just really good for them to be placing those on carefully. You can make it a lot more mathsy if you make the spaghetti strands in different lengths. So you've got some really short ones, some middle size, longer, one really long one perhaps. And once they've put the Cheerios on, they can put them in order of size, starting with the tallest going smaller or the other way. So that'll keep them fascinated for quite a while. It takes a while, but they love it. As long as they don't eat the Cheerios, that's always a bit of a battle. But that's a really nice little one. I'm giving you that for free, and you probably thank me for that, as long as you've got the right stuff. But you know, trip to the shops. Okay, that's pretty much everything for today. On Wednesday we'll be looking at our new letter, and there'll be lots of things to do with that. Keep yourself busy, do your lovely story retell. Try to be doing lots of things with those fingers and thumbs. Keep your strength up. Puzzles, threading, cutting, all those things really good. And then try and do some of those PE jobs from the Twitter thing that I put on there from Sports Wales, because that'll do you lots of good. Okay, if you are joining me on the Zoom meeting tomorrow morning, I will see you there. I'm looking forward to that. There will be another one that I'm going to schedule for Friday. So if you would like to do that, can you message me please, mums and dads, on Twitter? That would be lovely. So apart from that, I'm going to say bye bye now, and I will see you for another video Wednesday. Okay, bye.